Shalom, Israel. Want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, BASHAM, YAHAWAHSHI, BASHAM, Rakah, Quadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders who teach and rule well at Great Millstone. And peace and salutations and peace and mercy to the prophets, the hopeful elect, the 144,000, and to the men and women of the 12 lost tribes of Israel, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. Shalom. Back with another lesson. I'll title this one, They Have Rejected the One Who Sent Me. They have rejected the one who sent me. Call halal Yahawah BASHAM YAHAWAHSHI. Call halal Yahawah BASHAM YAHAWAHSHI. Barakatah Yahawah. Barakatah YAHAWAHSHI. Barakatah Yahawah. Barakatah YAHAWAHSHI. Barakatah Yahawah. Barakatah YAHAWAHSHI. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah BASHAM YAHAWAHSHI. And I don't want to make this too long, but they just had that mass shooting down there in Atlanta. The young man, I think his name, he looked like he's a Judite, so-called Negro. I think his name is Dion Patterson. And then they just had another shooting, a mass shooting down there in Texas, in Houston. Quote me if I'm wrong. I think his name is Francisco Asperessa. Francisco Asperessa, if I'm saying I'm right. Quote me if I'm wrong. But basically, the persecution is coming. The persecution is coming to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. The persecution is coming to the 12 lost tribes of Israel. The Lord has a time called Jacob's trouble. Jacob's trouble. And Jacob's trouble is for Jacob. Jacob's trouble is for Jacob, for you tribes, and ultimately 2/3 of Israel. There's a time of persecution and trouble that's coming on the Lord's people like never before. Never before. Ever. And 2/3 of you are going to get caught up into it. But you also have, some of the Lord's elect that are going to have to be put to death for the Lord's name's sake. The martyrs. But there's a heavy time of persecution coming upon you Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. There is a heavy persecution coming. And they're going to put, Esau going to put all type of stuff up. False accusations. The young man, Dion Patterson, down there in Atlanta, that he might have did the mass shooting, but Esau, he's full of deception and trickery. Esau will pay off or put somebody up to demonize, the tribes, man. It's possible that Esau, he could have paid that young man off to, look, do this, and then we can persecute these guys. Same thing with that dude, Francisco Asperessa, down there in Houston, in Texas, paid him off to go and shoot off all these people. This is the level of deception and evilness that the so-called white folks will do. They're evil. Now, did they do it? They might have did it. They might have did it. But, this is why the Lord said this is the city of confusion. You might be standing next to a man, or you might be going into the store, standing in line, buying you some food, and then you might look at that person standing next to you or in front of you, and you may think that's a woman, but that's a man. Or vice versa. You may think that's a man and that's a woman. The city of confusion, the land of confusion. This place, America, is the land of confusion. But they're going to persecute, going forward here, man. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, they're coming to persecute the tribes, and they persecuted the Lord. See? And there ain't no way around this, rich or poor. Your richest Israelite, Negro, Latino, or Native American Indian to the poorest Israelite, man, the persecution is coming. It tell you in Psalm 83 about the Lord's enemies, man. And they're trying to do away with the name of Israel, that it be no more, the name be no more in remembrance. But you're going to have all manner of persecution and demonization amongst the tribes, man. And all we're doing, the real servants of the Lord, are just prophesying and reading the Bible. We're not using guns or weapons. We don't believe in that stuff. This thing that our weapon is this Bible, and it's spiritual. See? Our weapon is the Bible. We're not using no guns or knives or none of that, or explosives. We're just opening the Bible and we're reading it and prophesying, doing the works, Lord. The Lord said, have patience and wait on the Lord, and vengeance is mine. And this is what we finna do. And if it comes to a point to where, you know, they come get us and we have to be put to death for the Lord's name, then we gonna do it. The Lord gonna put the Spirit on his hopeful elect to endure whatever they gotta go through. But the demonization and the persecution is coming to the Lord's saints. The Lord told you, precious is the precious in the sight of the Lord is the death of his saints. By you dying for the Lord is, he loves that, man. You're going into the kingdom by you being put to death for the Lord. If you're able to endure and be put to death for the Lord, for his name's sake, he promised you 100-fold in the kingdom. You're the first ones to go when he come back. But there's persecution coming. They're going to make all the lies and distractions and demonization amongst the tribes. They're going to persecute the tribes. This is coming. This is coming. They got all type of stuff that they're about to do to the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians to demonize the tribes. Let me go to the scriptures. John 15 and 18, and it reads, it says, if the world, John 15 and 18, it says, if the world hates you, ye know that it hated me before it hated you. 19, if ye were of the world would love his own. But because ye are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you. See, the Lord he has a remnant, elect that he's dealing with in his end time. He's not dealing all with Israel, with his people. 2/3 of his people are going to be put to death because they're too far gone. They're going to perish in this Jacob's trouble. They're going to 2/3 of the Lord's people, of the tribes, are going to be put to death because they're too far gone, because of their terrible, bad behavior, and they reject the Lord. So the Lord's dealing with his remnant, and all they're doing is seeking the Lord in truth and sincerity, and trying to become holy and righteous. But it tell you in Job that the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. So we're a sheep amongst wolves, and we're troubled on all sides. The elect. So persecution is coming. I just did a video a while, earlier on famine of the word, and they're trying to ban, put it's an attack on freedom of speech because of this truth of this word. The devil, Esau, Edom, the white folks, they don't want to hear this, man. They don't want this word to come out. They don't want it to come out. Otherwise, they would be joining in and speaking the scriptures, but they're totally against the scriptures. They're totally against this. See? And it's going to be even more clear, you know, when they come, because it's going to get physical. This thing is they're coming to put hands on the men of the Lord. Men, women, and children. They coming to grab us up and throw some of us into prison and even put some of us to death and beat us and torture us, whatever it is. This is coming because they did the same thing to the Lord. They tell you, what is that, Matthew? Matter of fact, let me go to that. Let me grab this real quick. Matthew, it tell you what they did to the Lord. See? Matthew 26. Matthew 26 and 67. Matthew 26 and 67. This is what they did to the Lord when they were when they had him in when they had him what is it? You know, like interrogating him, or when they had him, you know, pretty much locked up in their possession. This is what they did to the Lord, Yahawah by YAHAWAHSHI. It says, Matthew 26 and 27. It says, then did they spit in his face. They spit in the Lord's face. They had him, you know, they were spitting in his face, calling him all type of names. This is what they did to who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. This is what they did to Yahawah by YAHAWAHSHI, the Son. The Romans. It says, then did they spit in his face. They spitting in his face, talking shit to him. It says, and buffeted him, and others smote him with the palms of their hands. See, they were spitting in his face, smacking him, you know, smoting him with the palm of their hand. They were smacking him, you know, all the Roman soldiers smacking him across his face, spitting in his face, talking shit to him, mocking him. It says 68 or 67. It says, then did they spit in his face and buffeted him, and others smote him with the palms of their hands. What's the palm of your hand? The inside of your hand. They were smacking him and spitting in his face and talking shit to him. It says 68, saying, prophesy unto us, Yahawah by YAHAWAHSHI, who is he that smote thee? You see? So, you know what I'm saying? This is what they did to the Lord, man. But what did the Lord say? What did he say? Salakia. Let me grab that real quick. Look, I lost my spot. Salakia. They spit in his face and smoked and smacked him around, talking crazy to him. Can you imagine how the Lord feel? John 15 and 19, it says, if ye were of the world would love his own. But because ye are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you. The Lord has chosen his elect. He has a remnant that he's dealing with. The Lord is not coming back to save all of his people. He's not coming back to save all of Israel. He's coming back to save the elect, the remnant. It says 20, it says, remember the word that I said unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord. The servant is not greater than his Lord. And what is a servant? A slave. And Jake, you are a slave in the land of your captivity. You are a slave unto the Lord, man. You're a slave. The slave is not greater than his master. And I just read to you what they did to the Lord. They smote him and smacked him and spit in his face and was mocking him. Abused him. Paul got beat. If you read on what happened to the 12 disciples, they all got put to death. Apostle Paul was getting beat and whipped and thrown in prison for the Lord, man. They tell you the disciples, they felt, what was it? Salakia. I don't want to butcher it, but what is that? That they was found worthy to suffer. They felt worthy to even suffer for the Lord's name's sake. It felt good to suffer for his name. It says, remember the word that I said unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord. The servant is a slave. The servant isn't greater than his Lord. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they have kept my saying, they will keep yours also. 21, it says, but all these things will they do unto you for my name's sake. But all these things will they do unto you for my name's sake, because they know not him that sent me. Call Allah YAHAWAHSHI. And I'll leave it there. You know what I'm saying? I'll leave it there. And, you know, it's just persecution coming. You know, and that's just the way it is. You know what I mean? It's persecution and demonization that's coming to the Lord's people. You know what I mean? And all this stuff is going, all chaos is breaking out. Major mass shootings, a war, supplies are disappearing. You know, theft and crime. You know, the Lord told you in Matthew, man, the 24th chapter, that these are the beginnings of sorrows. So, you know, persecution is coming to the Lord's people, to the tribes, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. There's no limit to the demonization and the hatred that's coming to the servants of the Lord, and to the Akim and to the Akwath. You know, yeah, these are tough times that we coming into, and they coming after us. Those that want to serve YAHAWAH, YAHAWAHSHI, they're coming after us. There ain't no other way to get around this. So you need to be brace yourself and be spiritually prepping in this time like you've never been before, because persecution is coming to the Hebrew Israelites. And like I said, we don't believe in the real servants of the Lord, the real Hebrew Israelites. We don't use weapons. We're not using guns. We're not using guns. We're not using knives. We're not using any weaponry. The Bible is our weapon. And if we get caught up and grabbed up by these government officials, so be it. So be it. And if we have to be put to death for speaking this word, so be it. Shalom.